So Robert Garcia has told Anthony Joshua that he must leave the UK and relocate to the United States, California to be precise, if they are to continue working together after his second defeat to Alexander Usyk. He said, "I told Anthony and all his team that for me, the best way to keep working together is if Anthony comes to train in my gym in California 8 weeks before a fight. From 6 to 8 weeks, that's all I need for a good camp. I told Anthony, I need you to be around more fighters, more champions. I want you to have more fighters for competition, even if they are from the same gym, but you have to compete." I told him, you have to want to be better than them, and they will want to be better than you. It will work for all of you. That is what is missing in his gym. The fighters to be competing against each other, where they don't want the other fighter to do more than you. He needs a place with other world champions around. Anthony has always been alone in his camps. He didn't have other fighters to train with. He needs to be in a cheerful environment to interact with other fighters, other sparring partners. I think that would help him a lot. I am a boxing man, and I told them that I know that he needs to be in a challenging gym. The other fighters will push him to do more and more. That helps a lot. Everyone else in the team is willing to train in California. I had a very nice conversation with them before leaving, and everyone agrees that this is what he needs. They said that they will talk to Anthony and that they will need to convince him that this is best for him. In the end, he can decide differently, but his team accepted that the best option is to leave the UK and come to California for his training camps. He also added, it will help him to compete. He's basically repeating what he's already said with other fighters in my gym, and mentally he will not tell himself that he did enough work, that he has done. No, the other fighters will tell him that he needs to do more. Those 4 months that I was in England with him were hard for me. Fortunately, I didn't have a big fight with my other fighters. Jesse Rodriguez fought in June, and I traveled from there to England. I find it difficult for that to happen again. If they asked me to go back to England, it would have to be a special situation. If Anthony's next fight is in early December, I would be available because I don't have big fights. But if Jesse Rodriguez or Jose Ramirez have an important fight, I would rather stay with them and not leave. That is why I asked Anthony's team to come to California, and they liked the idea. Now they need to talk to Anthony and convince him. All right, long quote there. But first of all, I agree. I said in a previous video, I think AJ needs to get out to the States. He needs to change environment. But I don't generally like fighters having training camps abroad when there's a huge time difference, because jet lag can set in when they get back to whatever country they're fighting in. So I don't tend to like that. But I also think AJ needs to have, or perhaps should have, some fights in the United States. Some comeback fights, some rehabilitation fights. And in that case, well, he could train in Robert Garcia's gym. He could live out in the States for a while. So we'll see what happens. But Robert Garcia has been quite vocal about what happened in the Alexander Usyk rematch. He said some things that aren't entirely complimentary to Joshua. And I don't know how Anthony Joshua is going to take that. Whether he'll suck it up and say, you know what, let me go with this Robert Garcia guy, or whether he's just totally shattered from that defeat to the point where any kind of criticism, he's going to take it as an attack, or he's going to take it as someone he can't trust because the guy's run straight to the media rather than telling me direct. But that's another thing. Robert Garcia doesn't appear to have a direct line of communication with Anthony Joshua. He seems to have to go through other people. And it seemed to be that way throughout the camp to some extent, because Robert Garcia would say, well, I spoke to this person and they said Anthony's feeling fine, or he's feeling this way or that way. It's like, what do you mean you spoke to this person? You're his trainer. You're supposed to be speaking to him directly. So again, I don't know what's going on there. Is it a situation where Angel Fernandez is the guy who speaks to AJ and Robert Garcia can't speak to him direct? Is it because of the Angel Fernandez situation? I don't know. You guys have heard me in previous videos say that I think AJ should make Robert Garcia the main trainer. And maybe that's what Robert Garcia is saying here. Maybe it's a roundabout way of saying you need to come to my gym and be under my rules where I'm the man, where I say what goes. None of this Angel Fernandez stuff. And I know he gets along with Fernandez apparently. But for my money, Garcia needs to be the main man. He's the guy with the experience, not Angel Fernandez. So you guys let me know what you think of all this in the comment section below. Robert Garcia saying that if he's to work with AJ again, it basically has to be on his terms and in his gym and in the United States. Do you think that's good for AJ? Drop your comments below. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and is 100% censorship free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.